game. I know we said a little bit earlier on that that was the final one for the day, but we decided to throw another one in anyway. It's going to be Meet Your Makers versus Complexity. Obviously, two teams that we saw losing out in their first games. Navi obviously beating Complexity very, very heavily, actually, in that first one, 25-5. And, of course, MYM lost out to fellow Swedes SK Gaming.
And what's crucial about that is that the map is going to be Train, which is the map that coL took that enormous beating from Navi on. So it's a real chance for MYM to kind of turn the train around as far as their game goes. And you have to feel like it's a really desperate situation if coL can't get a win out of this.
Well, it's interesting, actually, that Complexity, you know, they've taken such a huge kind of defeat against Navi. Why they'd actually decide to leave training, obviously, the way the maps are picked, that, you know, flip a coin, the winner will get to remove a map first.
I think they're a team who actually like Train, though. I know with their old lineup with Hero, that they used to like it as a map, and it was one of those maps that they could have big results over, like, domestic teams on.
Yeah.
Plus, I know that, for example, Impulsive, the guy they just recruited, likes it, because he had probably his most famous game was when he played with X3O, which is the old Gravitas team, and they actually beat MTW on Train back in ESWC 2008, I think it was. So obviously, I mean, Navi are a really good team, so it could just be that it's your best map, but it's one of their best maps too. And some teams are just strange like that. Sometimes you'll see them take a loss on a map, but they might consider that map their favorite still.
Well, we're just waiting for another one more player, I think, to get into the server. You can see there on your screens Complexity, seemingly in high spirits, despite the big loss that they had a little bit earlier on. The other game that's going to be going on, I think, over in the game area at the same time. Let me think. Oh, let me look. Which game that will be. Yeah, SK Gaming against Roskilde Ravens. Obviously, Roskilde lost their first game against We Made Fox. SK obviously won theirs. But things in Group B looking very interesting. I mean, obviously, Navi have certainly had that best start, if you like. And if you're wondering, you can find all this information over at intelextrememasters.com. Yeah, Navi, the only team with 2 wins out of 2, obviously, beating We Made Fox, who sit in second. But SK Gaming or Roskilde Ravens will probably join them up there as well. And MYM or Complexity probably will end up on 3 as well after this game.
And that's, of course, a little bit of a grudge match there, SK versus Ravens, because both teams have kind of got something to prove. Ravens want to prove that it wasn't a fluke when they beat up SK, and that SK weren't just kind of a bit depressed with their old lineup. Whereas SK really, you can tell that they are motivated to kind of prove that they're better than Ravens, because on every level they feel like that. They feel like they've got the accomplishments, player for player. So, I mean, it's kind of, when you lose to those teams who are having a hot tournament, you want to really come back and kind of send them a message that, you know, they're not going to be able to do that every time.
Yeah, certainly. And I think we've got all 10 players in now as well. Yeah, we just need them to actually get onto the right sides. But we saw Train, obviously, in that Navi versus We Made Fox game, which Navi, again, just dominated in a similar fashion that they did against Complexity, albeit not by quite such a huge scoreline. I mean, what do you think to MYM on Train? What are you expecting to see from them?
The thing is, they can be pretty decent, and they can be good sometimes. I remember at the European finals, we saw them play SK to a draw on Train, and there were some good moments of adaptation, but it felt like they kind of also there's times when they kind of let up and they don't play so well as a team, and that I think they were winning that game a lot of the time, and then they in the end had to win some kind of clutch 1v2s just to sort of make it a tie.
Yeah.
So with that in mind and some of the poorer play they've had, I actually don't think it would be unreasonable to suggest that coL will win this game. I think I might be a little bit bold, but that's what my gut's telling me. I think coL can win this game. I don't think by any kind of huge margin, but unless we see some craziness from Delpan, I feel like maybe that's going to be the outcome.
Well, we're going to get into the knife. Obviously, that will decide who starts on which side, with, of course, Train being a counter-terrorist sided map. Could prove to be crucial to getting off to that good start. And we can see that Jumpy actually starting to work his way in behind them. but that won't work out all that well for him. And it looks like Complexity are going to be the ones that get that choice of sides. Only Furt there at the end was able to do anything. But yeah, Complexity will get to choose, and they are going to stick it out here on this counter-terrorist side. So they're the ones looking for this kind of strong, impressive lead, if you like, moving into towards the half-time point.
And if Delpan should choose to heavily favour the AWP and take a lot of sort of middle shots as CT, or try and play the outside maybe bomb train area, it'll be interesting to see whether when he's then on the terrorist side he's going to face up against Impulsive, because when he likes to use the AWP, I think he plays from the bomb train down to the pop dog, so could potentially see a nice battle kind of brewing there. And that's kind of what you always want in a game that isn't kind of the best teams necessarily going head to head for that kind of prestige. You really want to see some fun individual matchups. That's what's really going to give you a spark throughout the round, so you can kind of keep track of who's ahead.
Well, both teams have said that they're ready, so we are going to get this one underway. So, second match of the group stage for the Swedes of MYM, the Americans of Complexity. We'll see if Complexity can pick things up and end the day, or at least hopefully for them, like their fellow countryman EG managed to yesterday after they topped Group A here. So we're already underway, and DeBorn and Delpan have both actually exchanged a fair bit of damage here early on. We've got Impulsive watching from those Z holes, but you can see the terrorist side at the moment just stacking up down towards those white holes. Have to see if Complexity are...
this would be a great time to hit you, because there's two MYM players, coL players rather, up in the tower. So their rotation times are really going to be one of the worst possible, unless they're going to do that jump onto the ladder, which would be very dangerous for DeBorn, who has 6 health. So you're pretty much guaranteed that one person's going to have a really bad rotation time.
In come the smokes then.
They're going to go outside. This is actually playing into the hands of the coL players here.
They have to deal with DeBorn, who's, like we said, on 6 points of health. In comes the grenade, and that will kill DeBorn. Well, MYM are surely now going to swarm around this outer site. There's another man up there in that sniper tower. That was Tom's, but again, he's been dealt with. 9 spots actually on the bomb train. Furt will fire down from ladder room, but it's currently a 4-on-3 in favour of the Swedes. Now a 3-on-3 as Zet goes down. 9 spot doing a really great job so far. Where are the rest of this Complexity team? Furt will just back off, reload. In comes Irakanji and 9 spot. It's 9 are now all on Pitter, who's got hardly any health, and that grenade will roll out. He was far too close. He tried to avoid it, but it will be pistol round going to the Americans of Complexity.
And they've really got to be grateful that 9 spot was able to come up with those headshots there, because it really seemed like there was kind of a 2 to 3 second gap there where if he hadn't have held them off, that MYM were just going to swarm that bomb train.
Well, it's a fast push actually this time from Meteor Makers with Deagles onto that outer area, and Furt will actually pick up 2, and this round could go horribly for Complexity if they're not a little bit careful. A grenade comes in, there's the 3rd for Furt. Has he managed to get himself a weapon as well? Delpan will take down 9 spot. Irakanji now the only thing that stands between MYM and a 2nd round shot victory.
This will be a bad time for him to peak, because he's about to be facing 2 people in 2 directions.
He's still got a full 100 health. Spots 1 man over by the 6th train. Will spray down Pitter.
Still got... No, he's down to 24 health now. And a whole minute to play with.
He's taking the smart move at the minute. Right now, Furt has got a job on his hands.
If he goes to plan outside, this is going to be disastrous, because Irakanji is going to get the free kill onto him. He's going to get shot in the side of the head any second.
Here is Furt, and Irakanji doing that 2-on-1 at the end. And bit of a shocking round for Complexity. Obviously, Furt with 3 Deagle kills in a round that they probably shouldn't have ever been thinking about winning, but it came a little bit too close for comfort for Complexity.
Yeah, that could have been so disastrous. When you saw Irakanji spraying there, he sprayed almost all his clips, so the MYM player obviously kind of whiffed a few shots. And then just a little bit unlucky that Furt had to go so slow when he was doing that, but I mean, he has no way to know that he's rotated around.
Well, that was great from Irakanji. Got 3 kills and almost picking himself up a 4th as well, before being finally down by Jumpy. This is a full eco round for MYM, which means obviously only the standard pistols to work with, although Pitter, from that kill, has managed to pick him up an M4. He's going to put it to use as well onto De Bourne, and that could open things up. I mean, 2-on-3 is certainly a doable situation, especially from Pitter, who we've seen to be in form today.
It's Jumpy's health at the moment that's the real issue, though. A Glock and 11 health with the bomb. They have got some time to work with, though, so if they can get a kill, get him a gun, or just safely escort him into the site, then it becomes possible, I think.
Which route will Pitter take? Ladder room down into the outside seems easier.
coL have a pretty good setup at the moment, though. If 9spot can keep watching the outside train there, it makes it really difficult, because how do you get in? You have to get through the back of the trains if you want to go there.
Well, 9spot is watching, waiting for them to make a move. Here's Pitter spraying down towards those Z-Halls, and he will kill Toms, but he's going to fall quickly
No time
afterwards.
left. He has to go non-stop, literally, and with his health, this is next to impossible to get this bomb down.
Better off just trying to maybe steal a weapon, get in the back, and actually he's going to run in now onto that bomb train.
He's going to get it planted as well.
Yeah, he has got the bomb down. Great play from Jumpy.
Yeah, that's free money there for those guys in a situation where they shouldn't have been able to get the bomb down.
He's up against 2, but he has no weapon, so chances of him pulling this one off fairly low. And he's heard the defuse coming in. The thing for Jumpy now is that he doesn't actually care. They get that money for getting the bomb down, and also he's managed to steal an M4, which he'll run right back into the spawn with, and he will keep it for this next round. So, you know, well, a nice little bit of play for Jumpy, considering his situation right at the end there.
Delpan just bought an AWP, and I know Impulsive has one, so I'm going to check where he's going to peek now. Looks like Impulsive's going to take the middle shot. But Delpan's going to be going pop dog, it looks like.
Can Delpan find? Right now, Pitter's killed De Bourne. Good start from Meaty Makers. Oh, and there's Delpan. He heard Irakanji coming in behind him at ladder room, looking for the second. Impulsive will out aim. And we've got Impulsive up close against Furt. Zet has to pull off this kill, and Impulsive almost single-handedly is going to pick up this round pretty much for Complexity, but it's now down to a 1 versus 1.
And he doesn't know that he was on the 5 train.
Impulsive just hanging back now into that CT spawn area. There is Pitter.
Oh, he's about to look left, it looks like, unfortunately. This is when Peter could have gone out. And if he can use that grenade...
If he lands the grenade properly, then he can pretty much all but kill him. And there he will see Impulsive at the back, and he was fast over the electric box. And just the movement, I think, was a little bit surprising for Impulsive. And Pitter will pick up the first round of the game for MYM on this much tougher T side. And like we say, picking up a number of rounds, 4 or 5 rounds, is good enough on the T side of train.
It certainly can be. And we saw there, that's the kind of thing that Impulsive's known for when he's using the AWP. It's that kind of quick flick style from on that bomb train. That's what he kind of made his name against MTW, playing that style. Yeah. Well, we've seen so far, Pitter's basically played the best out of all of the MYM players in both games.
Yeah. Definitely showed some signs of greatness over in the SK game. Now you can see the Swedes are actually swarming out onto this outer bomb site.
Pitter is one of those players who I think probably was overshadowed by some of the other people in MYM.
The Complexity after losing out in that 4th round here are on an eco round, so only the USP pistol to work with. They're all going to move in together, which means one of 2 things. They're all going to die together, or they're going to get kills. Right now that bomb ticking away very, very quickly. Pitter and Zet opening up. Here is Delpan, close range onto Irakanji, and the last one just in front of him there on that 5 train. And they'll surely deal with him sooner rather than later as the bomb explodes. De Bourne is dead, and MYM bring it back to 3-2. In that round, obviously, not much to really talk about, just with the fact that it was an eco round for the Americans.
And overall, I'm still kind of waiting for Zet to show up at this tournament. I wonder I'm not really sure what's going on with his playstyle. I don't know if he's trying to do a different role now in this team. But he just doesn't even look like the Zet of a couple of months ago, really.
He's just not really noticed him in the 2 games that we've seen him so far.
Yeah, he's just pretty much been an invisible man almost. We haven't necessarily seen him losing the rounds or anything. He's disappeared within some kind of the clutter of how the rounds play out.
Smokes onto the top ramp. This looks like a MYM upper push as the deep smoke comes in, as well as the flashes, and Pitta is going to start to work his move in. And you can see there, just hugging that wall, and he's got himself into a good position, but 9spot pops out on that top ramp, and coL's moving in left, right, and centre. That was a good one from DeBorn, and now we're probably going to see a face-off between Delpan and Impulsive, the 2 snipers of these 2 teams.
Second.
Impulsive not knowing where they are. As soon as he sees the red shirt, he's going to aim for it. There's Delpan. And Delpan does spot literally just a glimmer of his opponent there. Impulsive will find him, and it's now 1 versus 1, and through, oh wow, through the pole. Great play from Impulsive, again, winning a round for Complexity.
And you see what I mean about that flicking style? When he fires, there's no kind of hesitation where he's looking to kind of position his shot. He's kind of thinking, okay, I'm tracking over. It's just he kind of almost zooms and fires in the same motion. So even though he's getting that zoom out, it's very quick. And it's always just a small skip of the crosshair.
See where MYM are headed right now. And this man could spoil the party if he gets in the right position. There we go, he's seen one. And here comes the FAMAS spray. He's actually taking a little bit of damage, and they will finally get in, but Impulsive is covering as well. And now it's again all on Pitta, who's found himself in this situation so much today.
He's going to get the bomb down now.
Oh no, he's not.
Taken out.
Impulsive just peeking down at the end. We'll snipe him off. 5-2 Complexity.
But this also kind of shows the strength and the map bias for the CTs when you're AWPing as well. It becomes so much more difficult with how many positions they can already be in as the CT AWPer. Especially when MYM really need Delpan to do something kind of nods to get them into these sites.
That was another easy one for Complexity. With the money not being great for meat makers, couldn't afford to buy out those AKs. The Americans extend their lead, 6-2. 2 more rounds and they're guaranteed a half-time lead from the 15. And these grenades are very, very dangerous right at the start. Zet did try to peek out at the middle. Didn't quite work out for him. Jump it at the end of Ivy. Won't actually find anything. They've already lost half of the health of Delpan.
Aggressive on the back alley here. Taken out though.
Bomb is down, and that was quick from MYM to get in there despite losing the men. Let's see what Irakanji can do. It's a double for him. That was a bad grenade, not what he expected. Flasher's moving out. Irakanji looking for Jumpy and Zet to finish off the round. He spotted one there over by the 6th train, and it will be Jumpy to out-aim him. Jumpy looking for the second, but he went for the spray rather than the aim, and this time we will see Zet called into action at the end. And he does pick up the frag on that diffuser. We see, obviously, he managed to save that AWP rifle as well for his teammate. He'll throw that back over to Delpan, and MYM will move up to 6-3.
It's a good time to peek out there from Zet. You kind of could just see by the way the round was playing out, the way they were going to trade, that since Complexity had the lower numbers, that they were going to come out loser in that scenario.
Good start again from the Swedes.
And here comes Delpan versus Impulsive again, it looks.
Well, Delpan will finally move out onto that outer area, and his
he
shot was
under the
way
train.
bad.
Yeah, and unfortunately he got himself caught under the hitch there, so he couldn't even kind of use movement to get out of the way.
Here comes the pickup of that weapon from Furt, though.
You see this kind of quick style. This is what, it's similar with Markov. This is what goes along with being a really good flick shooter with the AWP. You don't necessarily want to take those positions and just hold them. You want to move around quickly.
Nice shot from Furt. Irakanji is finally downed.
Toms really needs to just hide and stay alive here without peeking. He can't do any help for his team if he just kind of darts out and tries to out-aim them.
2v2 could be very good here for MYM as Pitta just gets himself in position. Impulsive will try and move in to cover this inner site, but he doesn't know where either of the two remaining players are.
And if Impulsive doesn't look to his very left here, it looked as though he was heading to get shot in the head there.
Impulsive is going to take the high road.
The problem is Impulsive doesn't have an AWP, so that's Tom's. Has he got a defuse kit? I mean, he doesn't have a defuse kit, rather.
Well, doesn't really matter. He won't get anywhere near that bomb to try and defuse, as Peter standing kind of mid-ground on that inner site. Will bring us to 6-4. Of course, that means 5 more rounds in this first half to go. And MYM, if they can get 2, 3 of them, they'll be happy with this. Money's not the strong point right now, actually, for Complexity. There's a bit of a mixture in there. Urukanji carrying a deagle. Tom's with a FAMAS, 9 spot with a deagle as well. Where's this MYM push going to come from?
This has been a really hard 4 to 6 round wins for coL here. So, I mean, it's definitely cost them in terms of the number of AWPs we've seen them buy, the number of smokes.
That will be the first man to peek out by the looks of things.
And if they can not get peaked and allow MYM to get back up into this upper inner area, they have an okay chance, because they've got a few guys hidden under bomb trains. And if you can just not peak and not allow them to retreat, then at least you have a chance of kind of fighting up close.
Actually, they've brought in Delpan for a bit of assistance.
Yeah, like D-Born has a really good position here as long as he doesn't peek his head over. He's going to get aggressive though.
Here is Delpan, misses a shot. DeBorn will kill him. Urakanji's there as well. And this round turned on its head as actually, I think it was Urakanji there who rushed up to Pitter, who picked up the AWP, and that looked great from MYM at the start, the way they managed to get in there, but I think they realised it was a bit too quiet on it, and then all of a sudden they were kind of peaked from all over by Complexity. We will now move up to 7-4, and one more round would guarantee themselves a half-time lead, but the question is, how big will that lead be? I mean, against a team of the calibre of MYM, you've got to feel like they're going to need a 10-5 kind of scoreline, I think.
And just from kind of the individual peaks there from coL, you might have said it was a mistake, but because they did it timed, it actually worked out to their benefit.
This one could be annoying. They've already lost the first man. Obviously, this is an eco. They've got the
This
bomb in
grenade's
place
going to
as
do a lot
well.
of damage here. There we
Once
go.
the grenades come in, but look at Firth, who's been a bit of a pistol master throughout this this game. They managed to get them down to just 2 remaining members, Complexity, but unfortunately, they got the better of them with the better weapons, and that defuse will now come around, and Complexity will take the 8-4 scoreline. 3 rounds to go. Let's see if MYM can bring it back.
We still haven't really seen Delpan doing anything kind of significant in this tournament so far. When you consider, even though they came second in Dubai, I think statistically he was like the best player in the whole tournament. So it shows the kind of impact that he has when they're winning. And now he's just kind of playing average, and the team's kind of playing average. Impulsive's got a really tight angle here on the back alley, so if these two guys try to step forwards, then you have to figure he's probably going to take the first one.
Well, they actually just baited out there to see if Impulsive was watching, and they were right. Luckily for them, though, he missed the shot anyway.
You see, he repositions immediately. His game isn't to try and set up and just take people as they go tripwire past the shots. He's constantly switching up, trying to get those peaks. It's almost kind of like a lone man Sunder style, except that they do it as a team. They decide where he's going to reposition to. This guy's just making his calls on the fly, pretty much.
Well, I think we've fooled them a little bit here, because MYM are headed in towards this inner side. Jumpy will go down in there to join his teammates. Firth is the one with the bomb at the moment. And actually, going to set up an aggressive defense. 9 spots killed Delpan. And the problem is getting into the defensive spots. You don't want to lose too many men early on, as Urakanji takes down Pitter. 4 versus 3 for the Americans. And actually, Jumpy's going to peek, and that's an impressive kill onto Impulsive, and certainly one that could maybe turn this round on its head for them. So we are now 3-on-2. Advantage Complexity. Jumpy still hanging around here, not sure where the shots are going to come in from. Zet is up high, and this is the kind of round that Zet has to win. Bomb ticking away. Zet will peek out onto the bomb, and surely he's just going to stay hidden. And he's got this anyway, and he will kill the final two. Great bit of holding play from Zet. And in the last game, actually, that we saw, we made Fox try and do a similar thing. That's how to do it.
Yeah, and that was against Navi.
Navi.
Yeah, and we saw a similar style there, which is that you actually had time. They had even more time in that round. I think it was about 11 seconds when the first guy started trying to defuse, and that's crucial. You have to realise when there's that little time left, that guy is always going to be looking at the bomb diffuser. He's not trying to kill the others first.
This is an eco round for Complexity, and you can see they're being absolutely destroyed. 9 Spot is the only one left alive. He's going to try to be a little bit sneaky here as he waits, and actually his shoulder or something must have been just peeking out, and Peter was able to spot him and not losing a single man in that one. And he brings the score back to 8-6.
And as was mentioned earlier, a key for coL always is trying to just at least keep a lead, because it seems like once they get down, the morale of the team gets really down. I mean, I've heard it described by some other American players as like anytime coL get behind in a game, they get really emo and they start kind of complaining to each other. So as long as they can kind of maintain this lead and keep getting around every couple, then they're going to still be in the game. But for MYM right now, the real problem is trying to string rounds together. They win one, then they get into a situation where they just lose it by a bit of skill from coL. They haven't really proven yet that they've kind of got one standard that's working.
No, but I mean, final round of the first half, 8-6, I mean, whether it's 9-6 or 8-7, they've put in a solid T side here. Definitely I'd say that as long as they perform their best on that CT side, then it's maybe even their game to lose at this point on, with it being so close off the harder side. And here comes that 9 Spot will out aim, and Tom's is in a dangerous position as he peeks over. He's found one. The other one's below him. Will he come up the ladder? Yes, he will. And well, Delpan got 2 of them up there, but luckily for Complexity, Irikanji was watching, and the first half will finish 9-6 in favour of the American team. And we'll have to see if they can kind of hold on to this lead, build on it. The pistol round for them is where they could really separate themselves out in this match.
And this team does have some good USP players, that has to be said. Then again, MYM, actually just pure aim-wise, have some really good USP players as well. But at the moment, with the way the coL players are playing, I don't know, I'm still kind of favouring them. I haven't necessarily seen enough from MYM yet, despite getting those rounds on the T side, to suggest that this is necessarily their game, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt or anything.
Well, there's nothing to suggest that, you know, Complexity can't get onto this terrorist side and do exactly what MYM have done, and you know, they pick up the same scoreline. They're obviously going to win this game, and we are of course in the group stage, so all 30 rounds will be played. But so far, Complexity do have that 9-6 first half lead coming in from the stronger terrorist side. I mean, we saw in the last game, Navi's counter-terrorist side against We Made Fox was 13-2. I can show you some of the score lines that you can maybe see. And actually, I looked at the stats on HLTV.org yesterday from the first day of the Intel Extreme Masters, and the games that were played on Train yesterday, the kind of win ratio between the terrorist and CT side was 50-50. Which, you know, can kind of happen if only a couple of games are played on Train anyway. But we'll have to see. So, not sure if we're ready to get underway here in the second half just yet. Yeah, 2 teams still warming up. I mean, what are you expecting to see from Complexity as they move over here?
I'm hoping to see that they're going to be really aggressive. I think for them, the best chance to win this game is really early on. I think the closer they let it get, I think you're really putting yourself in dangerous situations when you're versus players like the MYM players, because they have people who can win like 1-on-2s. They have guys who can rotate at the right time and back people up on a map like this. So I think it's really the case that you've got to kind of, early on, you've got to at least, if you're coL, I think you probably have to get up to about 11 rounds within the first 4 or 5, because then at least you've got yourself a little bit of a cushion, And then if you do lose a couple of those rounds that go in the mid part of the game, then you're not kind of super pressured to win the last ones, and you're not kind of so annoyed that you lost those rounds. That's what's going to keep the morale high.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about that terrorist side, you pick up pistol, there's 3, and if you can win the next 2 after that, especially, obviously, after having 9, you're up in a position where you really can kind of just crawl over the finish line from that T side and get into the right position. But, I mean, this game is pretty much a must-win for both teams, so I've got a feeling we might see something a little bit slower from Complexity, something, you know, maybe not quite as rushed to get in there, but I think MYM still, despite being down, yeah, it's 9-6. Realistically, I expect them to put in a better CT side, but again, we've pointed out time and time again today that when they're doing well, it's usually because of some great individual performances, and we've not really seen that today. I mean, besides, I think, one round where Zet took a one-on-one at the end, he's been very, very quiet. Delpan, okay, he's hit some shots with that AWP, but certainly hasn't been the Delpan that we saw in action last year.
Yeah, and when I did an interview with Drew before this event, Irakanji of coL, he was telling me that essentially all the matchups he saw within his group, he didn't really want his team to try and out-aim them and kind of take it to them just on a skill basis in all the matchups. They wanted to try and run some strats and try and make it that their kind of cohesion and team play that would win them the rounds. But actually, I think just based even on what we saw in that CT half there, I think they're actually better off when they kind of play to their strengths, which probably are trying to out-aim people in certain scenarios, especially in a game like this so far, because we're seeing that kind of certain players on the MYM team just haven't warmed up at all, and then even the players who are getting the kills, it seems like they kind of flare out a little bit every now and then. They'll get a little run, but then there's been nothing sustained.
Well, right now Complexity have just sat themselves back down. MYM waiting there as well. But before we get underway here in the second half, Complexity versus MYM, we're going to go over to the main stage with Daniel. We're going to get back into the game, and we're just missing actually one player from MYM. That's Delpan. I think he may have a couple of issues, but the admins are going to be on top of that one, and we should get into this one. So 9-6 is the score in favour of Complexity, obviously after the strongest side, the counter-terrorist side. What do you think? Who's going to win this game? I mean, it's still a close kind of margin. The stronger side is incoming for MYM.
Yeah, I still feel like coL are going to win. I'm not necessarily confident that they're going to win. I maybe feel like it's going to now. I think it's going to be a much closer scoreline than I was thinking before. So probably looking more like in the region of 16-13. I think probably either team that wins, it's going to be that kind of game. Just from the way the first half went, it felt like coL maybe was slightly more on individually, whereas I think MYM kind of, their backing up of players seemed to be what actually won them rounds there. Like if they lost a player, they managed to, on the rounds they won, like make use of it by getting the next guy in there.
Well, we're going to get this second half underway. Like we said, 9-6 in favour of Complexity as we hit the second pistol round of the game. See if MYM can bring this one back. Right now, the setup looking just like that. The question is, if Complexity pick up this pistol round, are they going to extend those 9 points that they have all the way and end up on 16 by the end of it? 9 Spot and Peter have actually exchanged a bit of damage, and Complexity really running the clock down here. Tom's has just fired a shot on that inner area, but the problem is, I think that may well just be a distraction. But
yeah, it looks like they're going to fake and go outside now.
40 seconds still. And Complexity really are running the clock down on this one. And MYM just.
And they're taking the longest route here. They basically have no choice. They have to go all the way.
Go. Probably going to see that push start to come in now. Jumpy has called it, and MYM are going to grenade down to the back, and surely that's going to make a big dent in the health and armor. Here comes Jumpy actually as he kills one. Tom's in is already, but there is third inside the CT spawn. Down to a 4-on-3. Advantage complexity, but Zet could make a difference on the outside. 9 spots close range. And Pitter and Furt now 2 versus 4 with the bomb ticking away. Here's Pitter, gets himself 2. Can he find more? It's now 2 versus 1 as Irakanji kills Furt. And now Pitter has to do a lot of work. That bomb is ticking away. Pitter right now has just sat down on it, and well, it must have been kind of fairly close. Yeah, I mean, against 2, the time was ticking away against him, and well, unlucky. But a good thing is complexity, or a good thing for complexity, is that they've won it, and that will bring them now to 10-6.
Took his gamble a little bit too early there, maybe. He still had a bit of time to work with it. He can try and push one of the guys, or he can kind of try and just move the perimeter and hope he sees someone peek. I mean, this puts coL in a pretty good spot, actually, despite being on the, like what we like to say is the weaker side. They could pretty soon be up to 11 rounds like we were talking about. And then from there, they don't really even have to do what MYM were trying to do the first half, string together the rounds. They just have to win some.
Here comes Impulsive. Yeah, had a man in front of him there on the ramp, and he's made a bit of a mess of that one, but luckily for him, Tom's grenade was already on its way over to Jumpy as the bomb gets planted by the Americans. Now, MYM trying to work their way in. Mr. Bourne will have Pitter and Zet taken out. He's now going to push in onto Furt, but well, actually it was Tom's there. Still, De Bourne is actually over by that 3 train, and he's just holding Pitter off, and they will finish off finally with the Glock. And that will be the 11th round for complexity, 11-6. And you'll probably be expecting this one to come in as well, because of course MYM won't be able to buy out the full armament, so won't bother.
And I am a little bit questionable of the kind of impact Virtus had so far. It seems like he's just played okay. At times he's maybe played not so great. I haven't really seen anything whenever we've been on his point of view that kind of suggested he was playing well on like a skill-wise or a decision-making basis. So sometimes just having a guy who's filling a spot but not necessarily doing great kind of really damages the kind of the shape of your team in terms of what it's trying to accomplish.
Well, currently 3 versus 5, and that was a nice little move by Complex. They decided to sit back right in spawn, let MYM come to them. And you can see their positions are very, very defensive. No real decisions made. Jumpy and Pitter are the 2 remaining players. They're so spread out. I mean, Complexity could hit anywhere right now.
Jumpy's in the spot where he can juke one of these guys and then get his gun. He doesn't manage to, though.
Fortunately for him, the shots weren't to the head of Toms, who obviously had plenty of health and the armor as well.
And Pitter must feel like he's been playing this game 1v5 at the moment.
He has been, though. That's the that's the funny thing. He's been alone so many times at the end, and will finally go down. And that will bring us to a 12-6 scoreline. Complexity starting to edge away, but this is the first round. This is where MYM can actually get themselves back into the match. This is where they have to win a round to stop Complexity going too far in this matchup. Of course, we will probably see that AWP in play from Delpan. Yep, we will indeed. And they're already onto this outer area. That was close from Delpan, surely. And Pitter will actually steal the kill onto Toms from right in front of him. In come the flashes to the back. We're going to stick with Delpan because I'm thinking they're probably going to put pressure onto him very, very, very quickly here. He still doesn't know where anyone is. That smoke is deep onto him in the bomb train as the grenades come flying around as well. And taking Delpan out would be a huge bonus for the Complexity side, and I think they know that. That's why there were so many grenades down onto that bomb train. And actually, there's 2 AWPs. I didn't notice. Furt also has an AWP. 3 versus 4. Impulsive kills Pitter. Still, Complexity are quite far back in the site, or in the outer site.
And Impulsive spent so long looking at that pop dog area.
Yeah, here comes Delpan, and he will be called into action twice, and does hit both of the shots. Let's get around to 9 spot. Last man alive.
Likely to get shot by him now if he tries to rush across. He's really good at hitting that short angle.
Here we go. He's close range onto Delpan. He's got a man coming from Z always, and there was a second there at the bomb train as well. And MYM will pick up the first gun round of this second half, and that's the point that they have to take to start this comeback. It's 12-7.
Something else that Irakanji mentioned when I was talking to him, I asked him specifically about MYM, and I said, what would they do if a player like Delpan was going really off? And he said that their strategy wouldn't kind of be to kind of attack him and get into those battles and kind of try to limit his impact that way. They would try to just directly avoid him and go the other way entirely. So, I mean, will they try and do that? And if they do, will MYM kind of switch up the positioning that they use? I haven't seen anything of Furt actually using the AWP on any of these LAN games before. I'm sure he probably does it in his movie.
There goes Zet, playing his famous position there just by the end of that 3 train. So far, so good. Yeah, mentioned earlier that I thought Complexity were maybe going to slow things down, and they certainly have done. I mean, the pistol round, they left it till 25 seconds or maybe even less to actually push down into that area. Peter got the look over from that sniper deck down towards T middle. And still, they're not going to push until 30 seconds again, Complexity.
Which means that essentially they are completely committed.
Yeah, there's no other choice for them now. They've got to do this, otherwise they're in a position for nothing. Here we go. Pitter's got himself 2, and Urakanji could well follow here as the grenade comes over. Pitter follows it in with the M4, and MYM, well, they're just like, okay, if you want to play slow, we'll just sit back, and you have to make a decision. And it's working perfectly for them now.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to see them get aggressive, Complexity. It feels now, if they were to try and really aggressively push inside, I think that might be their best chance right now. It feels like that outside, if you go slowly, they're just covering the angles too well, and the way they rotate through the backs of the 4, 5, 6 trains, it's just a little bit too quick for you to get in there and plant properly. And now it looks like they're going to try and rush inside with Deeks here. Yeah,
with Zet watching them, who will get himself the hat-trick. Here's the USP. Furt will open up with the AWP, and it's now all on 9 spot, who did buy himself a deagle, did fire off a few shots, but actually connected with Furt there, but he was obviously with that AWP just training on him, and that will bring us back to a 12-9 MYM score. Oh, sorry, 12-9 Complexity score.
And MYM are creeping closer.
Yep.
Right now, you feel like if coL were to take this round, that would probably see them towards this win with like a really high probability, just based on the way the rounds have been playing out. Now let's see what Pitter does to react here, because he's trying to watch Pop Dog and middle, yet they're about to come out the alley, it looks like.
Problem is they've got Delpan there, and lucky that the flashes were down, because Delpan missed his shot, and he'll miss his second shot as DeBorn comes around, and that's surely going to signal the fast push.
Here and engage someone any second.
I've got that fast push coming in. DeBorn on the bomb train. Urakanji up on the 5 as Impulsive will go down. We still have Zet defending here at the back of this bomb site. He will back away and still somehow gets the kill onto DeBorn, who had to jump on him. Picks off Toms as well, and now Urakanji's got so much to do, but he has killed 2 of them, down to a 1-on-1. Urakanji versus Jumpy.
Because it looks like Urakanji, he hasn't quite decided if he's going to go inside or outside yet. He's trying to fake it out.
There's Jumpy.
Oh, he's chosen the wrong one, it looks like.
Problem is, will Jumpy be able to figure this out? Will Urakanji be able to turn the table on him? There is Urakanji.
There we go, he's made the wrong decision twice here. He has no way of knowing, unless he heard that ladder, and it looks like he didn't, and he's about to get shot in the side of the head.
Well, Jumpy knows his position now, and
14 seconds, Jumpy can basically, if he rushes now, he'll only just be finished planting it. Let's see how fast he is. No, he's in the back of the site, unfortunately, Jumpy inside.
Well, he knows where the plant is. The question
is, with the health disparity
and
the defuse kit for Jumpy, it really feels like Urakanji has to just pick a really good angle and just kind of hold it for as long as he can.
Well, Urakanji will take that angle there on the 5 train. And Complexity move up to 13-9. Very close now to the 16 to win the game. And the score in the second half, 4-3. And as long as Complexity now just win 1 for every 2, we'll be picking up this win. Here comes a fast push onto the outside. You can see that Delpan and Furt both have AWPs. That was a good grenade. Good decision from Jumpy after he did the damage to throw the grenade up at the roof to try and get that splash damage up to the top of ladder. Fert's playing a very kind of aggressive AWP position on this inner side. That's going to peek around the corner. Oh, actually, he's going to be needed before that, but I don't think that's going to push him away from this position. Here comes the peek. No one there. Complexity have instead rotated around. And here's the man that will try and defend from them, but DeBorn gets the better of Pitter again. And Complexity, despite this kill, are playing slow. And just seemingly slower by every round.
And Delpan alone is watching over towards that alley area where they're about to come out. Now he's swapped to Activenna, so...
That could do some damage here if he gets into the right position. They've
kill
lost
there,
Jumpy
basically.
though. Interesting choice by Fert to move up so
I
aggressively.
don't think he realises he was planting either.
No.
It's basically a free kill he's just missed.
Oh, he's gone for the shot there, which was a very difficult one. Luckily, he's got the backup actually, but Irikanji will get himself two. Delpan still there at close range, looking for another out to the USP. Will he catch this kill? He will onto 9 spot. He's now got 2 more to find, and yeah,
coL
Delpan
can really run this
not
clock
really
down
going
now
to
if they
go
want
for it.
to.
No reason for Delpan to go for that after he's got those initial 2 kills.
And in terms of what it's now going to cost MYM to win this game, the amount of effort, that round is essentially game unless we see a real step up from them, and kind of coL, I think, have to give them some chances for them to get back in this game. I don't think they can just play good on their own and necessarily do it. Look, the timeout, is it here? No, maybe they just were talking to each other for a second. Took off the headsets.
Complexity again. Probably going to look for that slow push that we've seen be quite impressive for them so far. It's really worked out for them.
And look, Jumpy's about to peek out though. These MYM players love to do this thing where they use like the cloud of the smoke by crouching down like that. The only problem is you often see them getting shot in the face when the guy runs through it.
And it turned out not to be so effective there. I mean, he did take a bit of health away from 9 spot. They're going to back this area up, but the way that Complexity have been playing, which has been kind of a very quick to rotate style, seen them push away once again. 45 seconds remaining in the round. 9 spot down by the end of the Ivy area off to the right. Irikanji is just starting to work his way into the upper
Pitter can
ladder
hold this
area.
position here. He's got a really nice position for the way that coL have been attacking that inside site. It feels like he'd probably kill the bomb planter and the first man in, but he's going to move position, it looks like, is he?
Not sure, he's still waiting. They are starting to surround him. He is going to change position now, and actually he misses his first shot, but oh well, he should have maybe done a little bit better from that, but still he has 4 teammates alive to try and get this job done. Toms takes 1 and 2, and there's Irikanji. It's now a 2-on-2, impulsive down at the back of the site. Jumpy starting to move in on that lower ramp and kind of bottles his shot, and it leaves Delpan with that up.
Look
Close
at the time
range.
now. They can essentially just hide, and with only an AWP there, it's going to be very difficult for him. But he's going to go for this defuse, is he? Nope.
And he starts to move in. Irikanji obviously just sitting back, and that was an easy defense of that bomb site for Complexity. And now on match point, 1 more will see them winning this, and there is a pause.
He had to have felt like Pitter was the best player, kind of the player whose aim was most on for MYM, and he just happened to move sort of 5 seconds out of his position, and then that's what caused him to get in that scenario. Looks like a timeout here.
Interesting decision to call a timeout at 15.
Well, I mean, maybe MYM were the ones who called it.
I think it was
maybe
more
not.
of,
yeah.
rather than a timeout, more than just a come on, and then sit back down. But it is game point, and Toms has already got the first kill, and actually money for MYM is very, very low. There are a couple of Deagles of FAMAS and an AWP for Delpan, and this is a time where if he doesn't step up, this game is going to Complexity. Jumpy again could be.
Yeah, these Deagles, they're not really going to do a whole lot outside here.
They going to bypass Jumpy's position.
But he could pop up that ladder immediately as soon as Delpan sees one of them. But Kanji's about to peek him now any second. He doesn't know he's in that corner though. This would be a great time after hearing all that clip fired away.
Still he waits. Delpan watching from the inside.
Oh, you think he just popped his elbow over the side, I think, there.
Delpan's got to hit every single shot here on the entry.
And here comes Jumpy.
And he will hit the first one.
Oh, I think he's about a second behind the guy on the stairs there.
Yeah, and he will.
Oh, he's going to damage them so much with the time left. He can literally afford to just walk the whole way.
Start to work in. Delpan hits his second shot. Zet is there as well with the deagle. Impulsive is last man alive, and in comes Jumpy from behind. The bomb is down right in front of them. What can Impulsive do?
Nothing, 2 seconds left.
And actually, he's just going to sit out here in the smoke, which actually clears just at the end, and they will kill him.
I wonder if he was lagged there because of the way his model kind of stayed up when he gets shot.
It looked like it. Yeah, he's out in the desktop.
I mean, still a long way to go for MYM, so not necessarily any reason to get too upset for coL players.
I mean, that was what, 1v4 at the end? I don't think there's really much to go. Yeah, his PC is actually completely frozen up. Oh no, it's back. Hopefully that issue will get fixed here. I'll be able to get the restarts back in. And Pitta kind of eager, I think, to start the comeback into this game, just running into spawn and killing them. But it's 15-10, and with 5 rounds to go, it's certainly doable for MYM. But the question is, will they have the spirit to actually follow through on that? Looking down the scoreboard, 14-6 for Aokanji, 10-8 for DeBorn, 13-7 for Pitta. And I kind of hate to say it, but these 2 games that we've seen from MYM, Pitta's been the only one that's really impressed me.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 moments where Delpan hit a few shots and you got a bit excited, like maybe he's going to get on a bit of a roll.
Yeah.
But then immediately they would just flare out. I mean, like I said, Fertig just seemed to be almost non-existent. Jumpy hasn't really played that great. He got in a couple of clutch situations and they didn't really work out. Actually, Impulsive's quite an interesting character because I think he's quite a confident guy and he's like a bit of a trash talker as well. I saw quite an amusing paste from an IRC log that he was in where after the last in global finals, do you remember what the game that Fnatic played against EG? And Forrest was in the long A cave doors and 3 EG players ran through and Frod was one of them and he didn't check that corner that they're always sat in.
Yep.
And Forrest waited till a couple of them had gone in, then headshot all of them. It was in a bunch of movies. Everyone saw it anyway. So when the trash talk was going back and forwards after that event amongst the Americans who'd all done poorly, I think it was Frod was actually talking a bit of trash back and forward with some of the Gravitas players, and Impulsive said something to him like, hey Forrest, you need to turn up the difficulty level on those bots when they're going into long A. It was quite a memorable line, I think.
Not really sure what's going on right now. I think they're going to have a discussion about that round. This is something we've seen twice actually before this in the tournament, with Fnatic versus EG, where Fnatic wanted to replay the round, and in the end the admins left the decision up to EG, who decided to not play out. And also MTW versus Frag Executors was the other one where it happened, and Frag Executors decided the same there as well. Right then to Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Finals here at CeBIT, and well, going on right now, I'm not really sure. Lots of discussions. I tried to find out, but I don't know. I didn't want to get in the way. They seem pretty heated. But hopefully we'll be able to figure that out in just a little bit's time. Obviously, Complexity had that one guy lag out at the end of the round, but Delpan said to me that he lagged out as well. So I think we're maybe the main discussion at the minute is to, about resetting the whole money and things like that at the start of the round.
I think that's probably the most crucial aspect, is just based on the scenario that it occurred in, where Impulsive had lagged out, but he was at like 1 or 2 seconds from losing the round if he stayed alive or he dies. So for them, it's probably not as big a deal what money they start with. They could buy him a gun anyway, probably. The big deal is if MYM are trying to get money for one of their players and it's Delpan and he wants to get money for an AWP, when you're on game point and you're coL and you can possibly argue against that, you're obviously going to try and limit the chances of that happening.
Yeah, 15-10 is the score. It looks, to be honest, like MYM are ready to go. Complexity still deep in discussion, although they're laughing, so can't be that deep of a discussion. I think that MYM are ready to sit back down, so I assume that an agreement has been made and we can continue in this game. 15-10 the score in favour of the Americans of Complexity, who of course finished second in the Intel Extreme Masters American Championships a couple of months ago. Maybe a little bit longer than that now, 3 months or so. MYM are all sat down. Complexity going to join him as well, so I guess we will get the restarts. So 15-10, you think MYM can come back?
I don't think so at this point. I mean, I guess they're in the situation where it's plausible it could happen, but even then I think we're probably looking at a likelihood of maybe 15%. Just with the scenario of the money and the way coL have been playing, it just kind of feels inevitable at this point.
Well, we are back underway, and if you look at that man there, you see that he has an AWP, which is good news for MYM. And this is also an eco round for Complexity, so I think this is going to be a difficult situation to stop it going to 15-11 as Pitter will pick off 9 spot. The rest of Complexity are going to hit this inner sight. Third is there up on the 3 train, and by the time we get around, they've finished off those 3 Complexity players to bring the score back to 15-11. 4 rounds to go. MYM need every single one of them to give us a draw. Obviously, being in the group stages, there'll be no overtime. They'll just get 1 point rather than obviously the 3 that you claim for a win. This is where Complexity are really going to be looking to win it. They've got themselves back onto the guns. Pitter and Furt have already opened up here. Furt will try and peek out quickly onto 9 spot, but Complexity have really kind of upped the pace of their game so far in this round, and now it's all down to Delpan, 1 versus 2. And his position's actually not bad, he's just got to hit the shot. The problem is they know it's Delpan that's still alive, and they're not going to go and peek him, or 9 spot will. Now it's Irakanji, and Irakanji will fire away, and Complexity will pick up the victory, 16-11. Like we said before, the group stage, so we will play out all the rounds.
Actually, the other thing to consider as well, I guess, why it was so important to coL that MYM didn't restart with that money is of the round difference. They're in such a terrible round difference, they almost need a miracle. If they finish on sort of 2 or 3 wins overall, they're going to be in big trouble. So they kind of need to maximize every little chance they have from here on out.
Delpan and Furt still have AWPs. And we're going to watch actually Zet for this round since the game's over, because he's got a scout. See what he can do. Is anyone going to come into him? Actually, it looks like they will. So let's stick with Zet. He waits for Complexity to make a move. Furt watching the upper ramp actually with an AWP, so they could pretty much have this on lockdown. You can see the Complexity really starting to just run that clock out, as we're kind of used to. Here they go. DeBorn has killed Furt. Here comes Zet. Fires off 1 shot. Will take down Irakanji, looking for his second as well, which he doesn't quite find. But I think he may have hit 9 spot there.
Yeah, he hit 3 shots in a row, I think.
And now he's like, I'll take an upgrade. And now for the AWP. Looking for those shots, and that's a great one onto Impulsive. And they killed 9 spot as well. Good round from MYM. Who said the scout's not worth it? 16-12.
The thing is, that's why it's kind of strange when you see Zet not playing great. Just as a general gamer, he's really, really good. I mean, I've sat behind this guy and watched him play like Rocket Arena 3 and all kinds of games. He's just, his aim and his movement in all of them is just top notch. His kind of tracking, it's all there. So he's a guy who you're always surprised when he doesn't play well.
Well, here is Zet. He's going to get up close and personal with 9 spot. Now it's all on Urikanji, and he's not there. I think Zet was kind of chasing his teammate off. Urikanji was trying to work through the Z hallways, which didn't work out for him, and MYM will bring us up to 16-13 and the final round of this game. Obviously, Complexity already winning the 3 points once they hit that 16-round mark. Will be looking to turn that into more. I mean, Complexity, their first game against Navi, 25-5. The rounds are really important for them in their next games. However they go. Delphin and Zet working the kills up here. As Toms will now move into that inner sight. He does have the bomb as well, but his health is low and could find himself in a little bit of trouble. See what Delphin can do. First man into the inner sight to cover. And, well, that was probably a bit of an easy shot for Delphin, and that's why he missed it. He will hit that second one, though, and it's now Urikanji with 3 HP. Delphin will kill him, and that will end it at 16-14. Or did I miscount?
No, that's correct.
Yeah?
Yep.
16-14.
The last round.
They're still playing. Oh, no, they're not. They're just closing up. So, yeah, 16-14. It finishes in favor of Complexity. And, you know, hats off to them. They've managed to record their first victory in the group stage, their first 3 points. And the question is now, will they be able to continue that throughout the group stage and try and make something of this one? Because obviously the games that we've seen so far, they got destroyed by Navi. We made Fox, lost to Navi as well. But either way, it'll put Complexity up that little bit higher now in the rankings, up to 3 points, joint with SK and We Made Fox. Although I don't know if SK have played already in their game.
I'll find out.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, SK versus Roskilde was supposed to start at the same time as this game, but I don't know if they finished that. And then next game up is SK versus Navi. Here on stream, apparently. Yay, more Counter-Strike. Good stuff. So yeah, I think that's going to be the next one coming up. What are you thinking about the group stage right now? Obviously, with Complexity now taking 3 points, do you think they'll be able to maybe scrape through against one of the other sides?
Well, I mean, beforehand, like I said, the way I kind of saw the group before any games had been played was, if I just looked at current form, then I thought it was probably going to be the bottom 3 teams who wouldn't make it through. I thought, including the current form, would probably be We Made Fox, MYM, and Complexity. I thought they were the ones who'd lose out.
Yeah.
I thought, excluding current form, you still got Meteor Makers, Complexity, but then I thought the other team would be Ravens.
Okay.
So I think at the moment it's heading like it's going to be one of those 2 scenarios. So for me, I think probably, yeah, I think maybe coL's game against We Made Fox could be huge. I think that's going to be the team. I think that will be coming along with the other 2 that we're expecting to make it through that we're going to watch now.
Okay, so like we said, next game coming up is SK Gaming versus Navi in a match which could decide who maybe goes through in that top spot. Both teams obviously yet to be defeated in the tournament. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we're back, that game's coming your way.